Nutrition Education for All with our host, Kelly Springer. Kelly, how are you? I know you're excited about our guest today, learning about new technology in so many ways.
I am so excited. I can't even contain myself because nutrition is new and changing and emerging. But I think Tracy is going to be able to bring to light some things that may have been here for a very long time. And we are now learning more about. So, very excited to introduce our guest, Tracy Poizner, who is visionary in groundbreaking systems in the Bach flower, which I cannot wait to hear about, unlocking their full potential and legacies of lasting impact. With over 25 years' experience, she has a true catalyst for extraordinary transformation. Please welcome Tracy.
Hey,
Thank you
Tracy.
so much.
All
Yeah.
right. So let's just jump to the first question, Kelly, you have for Tracy.
What are Bach flowers?
So they are actually Bach flower essences. They're
Okay.
called Bach flower remedies. Um, Edward Bach was a bacteriologist in England in the 19 teens and 20s, let's say. He got very famous in his day for pioneering, as a bacteriologist, he pioneered treatments that were created from intestinal microflora. So, what we call our gut biome, microbiome. More than 100 years ago, he was using stool cultures, we'll say, to that, culturing bacteria from the intestinal flora and using that purified product as an injection, treating chronic disease. So specifically, he was treating things like uh, rheumatoid arthritis, heart disease, kidney disease, um, cancers, chronic diseases that there were no treatments for in the day. And to be honest, there still are no treatments, not curative treatments. He was curing chronic disease with these sort of vaccine-like injections. And he got very well known for that, and his methodology went around the world. I would say that it was a precursor of what today we would call uh, fecal transplant. Fecal,
Mm-hmm.
what do they,
Yep.
fecal transplant, is that what
Yes,
they
that's
call it?
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the idea that you could take this, product of like a waste product, essentially, and find gold in there that is a kind of amazing curative substance. So by complete coincidence, he ended up working for a homeopathic hospital in London, famous Royal London Homeopathic Hospital. He was just hired there to be a bacteriologist. And as he learned just a little bit about homeopathy, because he knew nothing when he got hired there, he realized that maybe this was a system that could help him to move his technology out of the realm of injecting, because he believed, and I agree, that breaking the skin to deliver a, a therapeutic agent is somehow against the way we're designed by nature. We don't receive anything from nature of a beneficial nature through a puncture. That's a puncture is always a wound. So he turned his whole system into a system in homeopathy, which came to be known as the bowel nosodes. And he got really famous again for that. And again, it was something that I studied, that I use a lot in my practice, 100 years later. But he was determined to um, really turn the paradigm on its head in a much bigger way. And he turned his back on the practice of medicine as he knew it. So he was a general practitioner. He had a very busy office. He had a lab with lots of assistants who were preparing medicines and taking them, sending them around the world. And he closed up his office and just went out into the countryside and decided that he wanted to research, really the plants of nature, the purest substances that he could find. So the innovation that he brought, apart from the substances that he found, he was just a very, very, very sensitive person, as many people are, some people are so sensitive to peanut that they can die from, from smelling it basically. And other people could eat a kilo of peanuts and nothing bad would happen to them. So he was a very sensitive person, and he could just, um, by tasting a petal of a flower, he could sense what it was doing to his um, sort of psycho-spiritual energy, to his thoughts and feelings, to his nervous system regulation. And over a period of 6 years, he developed this system of 38 remedies that are not made in the way that we think of traditional medicines, like an extract from the plant, but these are flowers that are um, put into fresh water and exposed to sunlight, which is ultraviolet radiation at the end of the day. So the radiation and the sunlight with the flower is able to, in ways that we don't have good language to express, it translates a healing frequency, which is captured by the water. And then that's just preserved with a little bit of alcohol, and that's the medicine that um, that he would give to people. And he could understand what they needed by interviewing them in the way that he would as a regular doctor. So we're talking about the level of healing that goes beneath what you would do, you know, with nutrition, let's say, with like the building blocks of your physical body, the micro elements that your body requires to function properly. That's all still on the level of the effects, the effects of a more energetic, like a program that's running, that causes you to not be able to metabolize a certain nutrient, that causes you to overproduce some enzyme or some neurotransmitter. Like what is causing the overproduction or the failure to metabolize? It's a failure in the programming end. There's somewhere running a system that is giving instructions to all the parts of your body. And if we can get at that system, which is purely informational and energetic, um, then we can restore the body to being able to function the way that it should be able to. In other words, that if you take in so many calories and you exert so much energy, there should be a relationship to how your body behaves. If you give your muscles what they need, if you give your bones what they need, they should respond by becoming more whole. So the area that I think this would have the most impact in terms of nutritional coaching is the whole world of what we could call self-sabotage, where people are not compliant, or that they have addictions that they can't break. So it's working on the unconscious part of us that causes us to act not in our own best interests. And that's all often really evident when we're talking about weight issues of a metabolic type of syndrome, a pre-diabetic syndrome, heart disease, like a thing, real chronic health issues that are profoundly affected by diet and lifestyle, which could, of course, can be shifted with dietary and lifestyle interventions, and that people can't seem to get themselves over a hump of doing what they know they're supposed to do. So this is where this piece could be really impactful in shifting someone's rooted unconscious beliefs about themselves, beliefs about what they're capable of, beliefs about what they maybe deserve to have. The issues of maybe self-punishment are sometimes in there, of fear of losing something important if you're let's say you grew up in a family of overweight people to suddenly become the only one who gets control of your body, the fear of how your relationships could shift if you become healthier, the the fear of losing a functional disease that forces you to rest when you can't justify resting otherwise, or that a disease that could force you to leave a job that you're not happy with. There are so many psychological elements involved in many different kinds of syndromes and chronic diseases. So this is where we work kind of behind the curtain at where there are these unconscious levers that we need to flip so that someone can suddenly uh, now be able to take charge, to call up some level of willpower that they haven't been able to access before.
That's amazing. So so you use these products to do just that?
I use these products. Um, I'll tell you, I've been, let's say, a healer in round terms. Homeopathy is a healing art. It's a form of um, alternative medical treatment. I'm not a medical doctor, but this is a lay practice. I happen to be a lay practitioner. There are hundreds of thousands of medical doctors in the world using homeopathy. Um, but I've come to a place in my own life, like I'm 65 now, and I've done a lot of that work. And I am personally fascinated with the next level of like what happens after the healing, like where we have now this unlimited horizon in front of us of what we could become, what we could do, what we could achieve, what kind of legacy we could create, what kind of relationships we could have, what kind of personal evolution we could experience if nothing was holding us back. So, my interest is in using these flowers with people who are curious about what could be out there for them, with people who have been successful in life and are curious about what could be what could they do more than what they've already done? How could they surprise themselves with what could come next? What could be latent or lurking inside of them that they haven't given themselves the freedom to explore because it doesn't seem to make any sense with the trajectory that has brought them to where they are. So that's who I'm particularly working with, people who are looking more for expansion than for healing, expansion and optimization, I would say. Similar to what people do in terms of biohacking or um, all the forms of consciousness expansion work. People are into microdosing and mushrooms and heritage plants, plant medicine with psychedelics, all of those things that are becoming more and more mainstream because there's this thirst for uh, a kind of um, exponential type of growth that we can't get with the traditional conventional pathways. So this would be an alternative to that kind of thing. It's not a hallucinogenic, it's not a psychedelic, it's not a plant medicine. It's a purely energetic treatment. So it would be something like using acupuncture or massage to achieve a kind of a mindset breakthrough, if
So
you
is
will.
there counseling involved, I would assume, as well with this?
Yeah, it's more, I mean, I can't say that I'm counseling because I'm not a counselor, but there is a conversation that
Mhm.
happens. I have to be able to select the best flowers. So the thing that I did, which is, the flowers work, the flower essences have like no thanks to me. They've been around for 100 years and they work great. But my contribution is to match them to a system of archetypal psychology, where we're looking at archetypes, like ancient patterns of thinking and beliefs and behaviors, um, that, go back beyond Carl Jung, who really elaborated them in the form that we know them now, but back to the Greeks in the Bible, the religion, all the religions have archetypal um, patterns that we would call, like the warrior would be an archetypal
Right.
pattern, the sovereign, the king, right? So I matched a system using this archetypal framework and put that together with these 38 flower essences, so
Mm.
that when I speak to someone and I understand which kind of energy they need to take them to the next level, then we can apply the flower essences that have those kind of vibrations associated with them, so that you can run this frequency that you need, that you're blocked from at the moment, whether it's about self-worth or willpower, or uh, not feeling frustrated about not being able to bring something to fruition, or being too much about what other people think and feedback, like positive and negative feedback, can really hold us back, right?
Totally.
And especially people who are successful, who may have surrounded them over the years with people who are like-minded and who agree with them, and you come to rely somehow on the idea that there are people around you who say, yeah, that's a really great idea, and not wanting to disappoint people who believe in you, not wanting to interrupt a string of successes with a potential failure. But the places that we have to go in order to really grow in a new direction, and potentially, uh, to expand beyond what we think we can do, which is that's where the excitement is, for a lot of people. They want to be surprised with what they could do. And that's going to rely on letting go of some very ingrained beliefs about the right and wrong way to do things. So the flowers are associated with these specific archetypal energies, and I blend them together for someone to help them, kind of break the chains.
Yeah.
And it tends to be a very organic process. Like, as I've said to somebody, it feels like you're just having a really good day, but you could have it more than, like that you've just moved into a space where your best day is sort of your normal, and then you can move on from there.
Tracy, I was taking a look at this and also the feed over, ask Kelly this question. Bach remedies are able to help emotional problems and pain, and especially pain. Kelly, is that difficult? To be healthy if you're in pain, to try to build your nutrition and do the proper dieting and the proper things that you're teaching. Is it tough if people are in pain? So that's what, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think Tracy hit on it too. It's also emotional pain. I started in bariatrics, which is weight loss surgeries, way back when I was young. I was 21 years old, and I saw the pain that people were in. Not that I'm agreeing or disagreeing with weight loss surgery. It's just I got to see people come in that have been hurt in different ways, or were, physically in pain as well. So there's a lot there, and I was very fortunate to be able to have that experience, and then to go on to Hillside Children's Center and see emotional, upheaval and things like that as well. So what you're doing, I completely understand in a way that I need to learn more. And I think that, I'm finally coming into myself at 45 years old and seeing where it can go. But there's definitely baggage. There's definitely still things that, I'm the youngest of three older brothers, where I was told girls can do everything, but I didn't really believe it, right? So
Yeah.
I think what you're hitting on a huge topic. I'm heading to a all-female conference tomorrow, 10,000 women going, Oprah
Whoa.
speaking. I know. And so this was so timely. Thank you, Tracy, because I do feel like I needed this talk today to just be like,
Cool.
you got this. And I do need I think we all need a little bit of coaching and help and that essence. And I think this is
Yeah,
extremely
that's it.
timely.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah,
I,
for me it's a bridge between like my desire to feel differently about myself and
Hmm.
actually feeling differently about myself. And because they're not the same thing, right? You can have a kind of aha moment, but it still doesn't resonate in your body. Like the triggers, there could be some trigger, like what you just said, like girls can do everything. You could find yourself confronted with something like, oh yeah, but that's a boys club, I'll never get in there, like you still, your body says no to
Hmm.
something that you want to go for. And I wanted something to bridge, like, why can't I really feel this belief in a way that could make me walk with
yeah.
that
Hmm.
in the world? And it really does seem to do that. It's kind of hard to believe, but it's pretty cool.
For people that want to find information on you, Tracy, where's the best place people can go?
They can go to tracypoizner.com.
And I learned more, and I know Tracy very well, and we've had many, many conversations more about Bach flowers today because of more of how it helps. And I think that's such an important thing, that the areas that the Bach flower remedies help are areas that people are struggling through mental health wise, pain wise, every day. And if Tracy can connect that with her technology to help you if you're trying to reach the highest level as a performance coach, definitely contact Tracy. And Kelly, best place to go for you?
kellyschoice.org, and check us out on Instagram at kellyschoice_nutrition. And Tracy, this has been enlightening. I'm so grateful to have met you and can't wait to hear more information.
Right.
Likewise, thank you.
That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and nutrition education for all guys. Take care.